You might be watching this video and going, Toby, you're wearing the same top you were wearing last video, and I am. It's because it's my favorite top, okay? Let me wear what top I want to wear. I got this top in Palm Springs when me and my girlfriend went driving across the West Coast last year, went to Vegas, San Diego, LA, Palm Springs. Oh my God, it was a trip and a half. Rented a Mustang. Oh, it was amazing. Honestly, it was so good. And I got this jumper, weirdly, in Palm Springs, which was just boiling hot, like a massive sauna. And I was like, yeah, that jumper, I want one of those. It's the only item of clothing I bought when I was there. It was a jumper for some reason. Or sweater for you non-UK watchers. Jumper, as we call it here. Anyway, let's get into today's video. What are we talking about today? So the Dark Following 1 had a ton of visual effects, and the Dark Following 2 is going to be no different at all. Now, we're going to include more practical elements for sure, because I always believe that practical elements, where possible, always enhance the look and feel of a film. If it is real, it will look real and feel real. If it's fake, you're still always trying to make it look as real as possible, whereas if you just had it as a practical set, prop, etc., you don't have to worry about that because it is real. But in order to do a lot of the stuff we're doing, we actually can't afford to build these massive sets and have all of these like model props and sceneries and backdrops and all that stuff and go on location everywhere. We're gonna have to do a lot of visual effects. I say we, I mean me, doing everything. So a couple of these episodes going into the production of the film are going to be looking at breaking down some of the effects that I've already actually made so far. Nothing spoilery. Some of these effects, you're not going to really know what they mean without any context. They'll be at the start of the film anyway, so they're not going to spoil anything for you. But I've worked on them and I've produced them, and I think it's interesting to show you where the process starts, because it's going to be such a long process making all of the effects that it would be silly to start doing them after we've shot the film. I might as well just start doing them now, especially if I know what we actually need to do for it, considering most of the script has been written. So let's shimmy on over to the desk. I'll show you what's up. So one of the shots that you saw in that little clip of effects that have already been done for the film is this shot here, which was produced entirely in After Effects using 2D images. And this is what I wanted to explain in this video as we start looking at a few of the effects shots for this film. While there will be some completely 3D shots and some more complex shots involved, I want to start off by just explaining and showing to you all that you can achieve some really interesting types of shots just using still images and applying motion to the positioning, scaling, and rotation of the static images. And that's exactly what this shot is here. There's nothing overly complex about it, and it's really easy to produce, but you get this awesome looking, epic, vast vista, incredibly big scale of an image just using a load of pictures, basically. And one small simulation, which could even be done with an image if you really wanted to. So let's break down this shot. It's very simple, only lasts for 1 second to 5, so 4 seconds long. Yeah, okay, I know how to do maths, just counting. Let's go layer by layer. You've got the motion controller at the bottom that if we look at the positioning of it, you'll see that it's got a wiggle expression applied to it, which you can do by holding Alt and clicking on the position value here. That will bring up this expression parameter here. And just by adjusting these two numbers, you can change how much of a wiggle is applied. Obviously, the higher the number, the more wiggle you're gonna get. I don't want it to be too crazy, so 2 and 4 is kind of a good number to have there to give the impression that there's camera motion applied with the positioning moving around. The ship null, again, is just something to parent everything to, so that we're not relying on one of the actual images to be the parent object. The null is its own thing. Right, black solid just as a background, just to keep that there, because outer space is our background, so if anything does fall through in terms of transparency, we've got a safe black color there just to hide everything. We've got this image of the cosmos, which I've just found online somewhere. I'm not exactly sure, but go on Pixabay and all of these other free stock image sites. You'll find anything that you're after if you look hard enough. We've got Jamie's little ship up there, which is just a picture of a flare that I found on Google, just masked out. and with a screen mode applied to it so that we get rid of all of the black values and we just leave the lighter values. The militia ship, which is the same lens flare. And then we've got the missile jet, which essentially is just a particle system with everything firing downwards with the gravity vector on 1 on the Y value, which means it's going to be pulling downwards, and the gravity boosted right up to 22 so that it's dragging all of this right down. Now this picture, and this is what I want to highlight with this video, is you can do this type of stuff really easily. You just got to think ahead and just be quite creative with it. So when I was flying back from Sweden at the end of last year, I was looking out the window and I saw this amazing view with the clouds and the sun. And I was like, you know what? I'm making this film next year and I'm going to need some shots of space or clouds from really high up above. There's lots of licensing issues with trying to get stuff like that online. So I just took my phone out, which is a Galaxy S9, has a pretty good camera on it, pointed it out the window and snapped the picture and ended up with this really nice looking shot, which is my picture. I can do whatever I want with it and it fits perfectly with this scene. I didn't know if I was going to use it in this way, but I took a load of pictures, I took some videos, and I've just got that in my library to use if ever I need to do it. So if you're ever on a plane or anywhere where you think this is a cool shot, it might be handy to come in later, just take it on your phone. Your phone camera is most likely good enough, especially to do these kind of wide landscape shots. I didn't need any out of focus anything. I didn't need any depth of field, anything like that. So just your phone camera will be absolutely fine. Now, obviously we couldn't see space from here. The atmosphere was just blue sky all the way up to the top. So what I've done here is masked out the top here with a feather so that it blends. This is where that black solid behind it comes in handy. So it actually blends to black now. So there we go. That's blending nicely into the black, but I wanted it to be more like space. I wanted to actually see the stars and just really give it that extra little touch to the image. I mean, that looks nice on its own. It looks really nice and clean. And I do actually like that for what it is. And I might even change it later because I like how clear you can see where Jamie's ship is. But I think for this as it is, the stars really work well in showing off this is a sci-fi movie and the atmosphere is potentially different here on Earth because you wouldn't really see that effect at all. On Earth, the atmosphere is too thick, especially at this altitude. So adding that effect is not very realistic, but it adds to the genre. However, I did think that there were too many stars here and I did want it to be a bit of a more subtle effect. So I added this atmosphere solid, which is just literally a solid color there with a bit of a tint applied to it, which is just going to help blend, if we play it now, just blend that nice blocky color into the stars a bit better so it's not as harsh. It looks nice, it looks clean, but just having that little bit of the stars up there does imply that Jamie's heading for the stars, and that's just that little bit of visual storytelling you can do there with the effect. Everything's then just parented to what it should be, and that's it. And then we have this nice little shot here, created completely out of still images and just a really simple and easy to do particle simulation. It's just making the effect of the jet stream going there. And that jet also has a directional blur applied to it, pulling straight downwards. Because if we take that off, it looks a bit blotchy, but with it on, it just blends it all together into a nice little jet stream. And that's it, really. That's all it was. And again, that was the point of this video, is just to show that this one effect is very simple to do. Very few layers, not much going on, but you can get a lot of character and energy in this one shot just by using still images. So I hope this gives you some inspiration for doing any of your own projects, any of your own shots, and just be creative. If you can think of an idea, there's probably a simple way to do it, especially in After Effects. Yeah, there's a ton of effects here, but just the simple stuff, just positioning, movement, scale, parenting, a few little bits of blurring here and there, and that wiggle expression is all you need. So that's it. Next time, in the next visual effects episode, we will be looking at some of the more complex effects, looking at Blender and how I've created some of these ships and compositing them together with different backgrounds and particle effects in After Effects. But for now, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep up to date with more on the Dark Following too, then please do consider subscribing. And if you enjoyed the video, give it a like. That really does help us out. It helps us get our videos seen by more people and ultimately share the word about the project and where it's all going. If you have any questions about this shot or any questions in general about After Effects, leave them down in the comments below. I'll try my best to answer them if I know the answers to them. And that's it from me. So with that, I'll see you all in the next video.